Hey guys, what's up? RossDunneIE. I wanted to talk very briefly, probably actually going to be a short video, but it might not be because I tend to ramble on quite a bit about the Stanford Rape case. It's on everyone's minds, everyone is talking about it, it won't go away, but I've read into it a little bit more, and I find it very interesting how this is all coming together. He composed a pretty significantly long letter post this event. He stated what the psychological after effects have been for him, how he has lost employment, how he has gone through all of these trials and tribulations in his personal life after this event. And there's an awful lot of sympathy for him over this. His father is quoted as saying it's challenging to, or it's bad to ruin this young man's life for 20 minutes of action. The ultimate point here is that I feel that none of this takes into consideration the fact that he very possibly psychologically shattered another human being for the rest of their lives. Rape, we think, the conversation about rape is an interesting one because on one hand, the argument from one side is that it's not taken seriously enough. The argument on the other side is that it's taken too seriously. And unfortunately, I've witnessed far too many cases personally in the news media and so on about rapes simply not being taken seriously enough. The conviction is too lenient and the conviction is soft. It's not strong on the individual. There's very little punitive action and so on. One specific individual on YouTube, it's the Amazing Atheist, and I'm not trying to... TJ comes across this video, I'm not trying to shit on his parade or start fucking with him, because his whole point is, what is punitive action? What is satisfactory punitive action? Why are we not rehabilitating rather than seeking vengeance? Why is the whole justice system based on seeking vengeance rather than rehabilitation? The true reality of the fact that the justice system is based on seeking vengeance is a good moral thing, that people want vengeance, they don't want reformation, they don't want rehabilitation, they just want vengeance. And I think that rehabilitation should be a component of any criminal justice system. There should be a period of penalization followed by a period of rehabilitation. Obviously the system which just puts criminals in prison for X amount of time and then releases them again afterwards whilst offering no sort of counseling, no reformative action, obviously it's not satisfactory. There should be both. I can understand society's need and society's want for punitive, revenge-based action against individuals who commit significant social trespasses. At the end of the day, the reality of the situation is that this was not taken seriously enough. Again, you can get into this relativistic argument about what is a serious sentence, what is serious correctional action. Given the skewed statistics which place minorities or the impoverished or the disprivileged, you know, the legal system is extremely hard upon them. You know, a young guy gets caught slinging bags of weed and he's in prison for 5 years. But a guy can write a letter about how he's sorry and get off with 6 months? I don't know what the other side of this is, because the victim in question, as far as I can understand, is very quiet. There's been very little said from her and so on down, or at least recently, because the media attention seems to be focusing on him. But still, the consequences of sexual assault are not, I don't think they're small. I don't think they should be brushed off so lightly as they are. Far too often, people are being penalized in a very soft way by the legal system on the subject of rape, and if it appears as though a young man or whatever has a bright and promising future, then all of a sudden we wager this negative action in the present tense against the possible positive future actions of the individual. So we're hedging our bets here. We're saying that, oh, this was a fuck up. He just did it once. He'll never do it again. And given his privileged position and his bright superstar status, in the future, his great works amongst men will redeem him, and he'll be fine. It'll be okay. It won't have mattered that he raped and ruined somebody's life. And we really don't take the ultimate consequences of rape seriously enough, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to sit here and deny that there are individuals out there who are sociopathic and manipulative and may be willing to file or to generate false statements about possible encounters with people for the sake of their own benefit. You know, I don't believe that when two people get drunk and engage in intercourse that the man is always a rapist. But in the same respect, I don't think there's such a thing as asking for it. I don't think that dressing promiscuously is asking for it. Ultimately, it's about an individual's agency over their own body, and if you break that, it's a major trespass. It's a significant social, moral, and ethical trespass. There's no situation, again, where a woman or a man is asking to be raped or sexually assaulted, but there are circumstances where obviously the system is abused. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. I don't believe that everyone is innocent and that false rape cases don't happen, but I would definitely argue that they are in the minority, and he should have been punished more. I'm sorry. I know people might get a little bit pissy about what people's idea of punishment is. We treat murderers far more seriously, and we give different judgments in the law based on class, background, race, money, you know, and don't say that they don't. It is observable, it is demonstrably true that people from more privileged backgrounds ultimately receive less severe penal sentences for crimes than people who don't. Ultimately, you could make this, I believe, a class issue. People tend to, I mean, there's race is bound up in it, and it always is, but class is also another part of it, in all honesty. And as I said previously, we're hedging our bets based on the idea that this man in the future will be a great person. He has a bright future. So, because he has a bright future, we wager that we wager his future is going to be great, and in turn, the moral debt will be repaid. That's fucking nonsense. I understand that I'm being punitive, that I'm endorsing the perspective of revenge, and I understand the irony of the fact that the previous video I made was a denouncement of violence, and you could argue that this is a form of state violence against the populace, but I still believe in my heart of hearts that there has to be punitive action against individuals whose trespasses are significant enough that they can psychologically damage or ruin the lives of another human. There's no point in us getting relativistic and, you know, exploring the philosophy of law when the circumstances are convenient for us. It's a silly thing to do. It's pretty blasé. It's pretty obvious as well when it happens. And that's kind of how I feel on the subject. Either way, I'm Ross Dunn. Peace.